Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. I'm really happy to see you here because I didn't really know if the topic would be really interesting for people and especially tech people. So I'm really happy to see you here. Please don't go out during the talk, please. So my job is a pretty nice job because I'm just paid to play with new technologies and write articles and do good, making conferences about those technologies and what I do every day. So it's pretty nice. I'm going all around the world to many conferences, and I'm every time surprised to see the different experiments and tech evolutions that we can see every day in our job and our work. I wrote a conference a few years ago that is named Privacy by Design, where I explain how to bring control back to the privacy to the users. And in this conference, I primarily say if code is low, what is the role of the developer? And for me, if code is low, the developer is politic. And this is the starting point of this new talk. That's why I wrote it and presenting it to you today. So, where is the future now? Despite the various hopes of my son that wants to see flying cars or something like this, future is already here. We are playing with huge technologies. We are doing some amazing stuffs, and with little devices in our pocket, more powerful than the ones that bring man to the moon some years before. So future is already now, but we are at a point where good and evil are melting, and we can't be sure if what we are doing, whereas our technology and our experiments are done in a good way or a wrong way, the evil way. We can't be sure about what we are doing. So the first question is finally, where does ethics start? And what is ethics? And despite the fact that we are in a chemistry classroom, I guess, we will more talk about philosophy. I wanted to show you a short video, but we can have the sound, but it's okay. You probably saw it before, and if you don't saw it, I will just explain it. It was during the last Google big conference, and it was a demonstration of a Google Assistant that is making an appointment to a haircut salon for a client. And what's interesting is that in this video, we are seeing the artificial intelligence of Google making a phone call, calling a real person, a real human, making an appointment, and we have an artificial intelligence that is talking to a real human, and this real human doesn't be aware that you are talking to an artificial intelligence. That's awesome. That could be creepy too. We are not sure about how to use that technology, because we can also wonder if you rely to this technology and you are using it to make your appointment, your phone calls, you are just considering that your time is more valuable than the time of the person on the other side of the phone. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. Another example, we have drones, military drones, and they are used to recognize operations, but they are also used to kill people. And those drones are made with open source software, like the Linux kernel. Does the Linux kernel a bad thing in it? I don't think so. But in fact, it can be used to do bad things, evil things. So the problem is that ethics cursor is moving. It is never something that you can arbitrarily found and just saying it's always the same thing. It's always depending on the context, always depending on the use of the technology, and always depending on the first question you will try to answer. So there is no metrics, there is no frame of reference, there is no law to define ethics precisely. The problem is that we are just computer scientists, and we're mentally made to think in binary form. We are logicians. We are not fundamentally aware of the fact that some things are moving and we need to adjust. We are more used to manipulate logic gates. So we need to rethink the way we are working every day in our jobs. Because technology isn't neutral. Technology has impact in the real world. Because every day with the technology, people live thanks to this technology, like with pacemakers, but some people die also because of this technology. And if you die in the matrix, you die in the real life. I'm old, I'm sorry. But so it's more a question about reality versus virtuality. We can't just separate the two worlds. It was possible 20 years ago when I first tried to play with the web things and some stuff. I said, I'm old. But in fact, both worlds are melting right now. So what is ethics? This talk is probably a philosophical one. I'm not here to say if it's good or if it's bad, if it's the right way or the wrong way. I'm not here to judge, and I'm not here to produce some third effect or some technology critics. I'm the first one to be really geeky things and technology things. But I just want to rethink about all of that and our everyday job. So I first try to talk with antiquity, ancient philosophers. And for Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, ethics wasn't about a public morality. It's not a question of living together with rules and social convention, with etiquette. It's more about, for the Aristotelian ethics, about the experience of the action of the life. What are you doing in your everyday job, in your everyday use, that has an impact of the rest of the humanity? Because the goal is just to become virtue and doing the things the right way. But the right way cannot just be seen as a way you can just follow. It's just always questioning yourself about what we want to do, what we want to use, what we want to deliver to the rest of the humanity. So finally, thinking about ethics is more an elite issue. It's a luxurious problem because most people don't have the time to wonder about the impact of their actions on the rest of the humanity. Pascal said that true morality has no time for morality. And then again, it's just that thinking about ethics doesn't imply you think about morality. And this is not a value in society term. Another problem for us, which we are computer scientists, is that scientific approach isn't ethical approach. Science analyzes facts to think of it about hypotheses. And ethics is more about thinking about what needs to be done. It's a problem for us because we are scientists and we are used to use a scientific approach and not a real ethical approach. So this is another problem because we have to make the difference between choices and decisions. A choice means you have to select between different existing hypotheses. But a decision implies that you have to bring your own morality in the balance, and you have to choose in an instant what needs to be done, which machines can't do at all. And this is the famous test about the self-driving cars, where the MIT developed this test. I don't know if you did it by yourself before, about if you are in a situation and you have to kill the people in the car or kill the people in the street because you are going to produce an accident, and you just have to make a choice. Which choice could be done? And the machine cannot answer to the question. This is a question of ethics and morality, and this is a decision, not a choice. I want to talk a little bit about sapiens, Homo sapiens, as we are, everything of us, but more as Dios. Because right now, who are we right now as humans? Human is not mature species. We need 10 to 15 years to start to become autonomous, where other species are really autonomous in a couple of hours in the wild. So we are still learning every day, and we are increasing our knowledge and our global knowledge and humanity knowledge. But despite of that, humans continue to kill and destroy in wars. And however, humans can think about their conditions and what they are doing, but they are still continuing to kill other peoples for no reason or silly reasons. And more than all, humans have God powers, because whereas one of the last species which is capable to create some things that are, once again, awesome. We can create life, which can be seen with Boston Dynamics experiments, which is pretty impressive. And now they can go outside, so be careful when you are running into the wild, because I don't know what those kind of robots can do. This is a famous quote from a famous scientist, I guess, where God creates dinosaurs, God destroys dinosaurs, God creates man, man destroys God, and man creates dinosaurs. So maybe we kill our own God, I don't know, but we have this kind of power. We have the power to create. We have the power to create some things like the robots, but we have the power to create as our own image. Okay, this is just sci-fi movie, but in fact, we are starting to create androids and to create robots that looks like human people. And we are also able to create personality, real personality that interact with the rest of the world. This is the phone call with the Google Assistant. This is the same thing. We are creating machines with a personality or with an abstract of personality. And it can be really wholesome, it can be creepy, I don't know. I'm not here to say if it's good or bad or right or wrong, I don't know. I just want to show you another little video. This is an android. In fact, this is a sex doll, which is doted of an artificial intelligence which can reproduce a personality and that you can program it to respond to all your needs and all you want to do with the sex doll. And recent studies tend to prove that young people prefer to have sex with those cybernetic things rather than with real humans. I'm not here to judge if you like that or not. I have my own mental illness, so I can't judge you. But in fact, it's real. It exists. In his book, Yuval Noah Harari, the book which is a brief history of tomorrow, Homo Deus, he's talking about two big patterns when the humanity lost the control. He said that humankind will be replaced by the machines because machines can be more efficient on many tasks, and the only way humans won't be replaced by the machine will be the way where it won't be more efficient to let the machine think rather than a human. It's always the difference between the choice and the decision. Another big problem for him is the big data paradigm, where Homo sapiens may not be dominant because we don't have the power to compute a huge number of data where machines that we have created are able to do many computation with this big range of data. So the machine will be probably more efficient than us on big data problems, and they probably will replace us in the next evolution and the next steps of the humanity. But maybe it's a good choice, I don't know. In fact, in a world where an artificial intelligence could already know or could know us more than ourselves, who will control the artificial intelligence? And in fact, it's already the case because when you have a world where artificial intelligence is powered by Amazon or Google, and we are programming those artificial intelligence to make some choices, who could make the decision, which human can make the decision on how the artificial intelligence will respond to some answers, to some questions. This is probably the board, the executive board, and not the people who are using the artificial intelligence, nor the developers that are working on those softwares. And this is another time for Ian Malcolm, which is finally a good philosopher, that your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should do it. So it's probably most the evolution. After all, sapiens is here for 200 or 300 centuries. So it's nothing for the Earth, and we are just building a future where we're probably not the dominant form, and we will be dominated by the artificial intelligence. But it could be okay. After all, this is what we just want to do and what we want to create with our world. So it's the difference between thinking and creating what we want to do. So as digital makers, are we finally the new thinkers? The technology is a political tool, and a very powerful one, because if you see some experiments or some work like the work done by SpaceX with the new launches, which are revolutionaries and awesome, we are just giving to SpaceX the possibility to conquer the space, because our public instance, our public administrations, the NASA or the ones are not allowed to access to this technology. So this technology and the space become a private company field, and it could be problematic. We have the same thing with the social networks, which are used to prevent some attacks or some many things. I'm French. We had some terrorist attacks during the last years, and my government will try to build an application which was called SAPay, which was an application that every French citizen could install on its own device, and it could use it to prevent in case of attacks, and just to say that he is okay, he's safe, there is no problem. But the application was worst, really worst, because it never worked. And finally, the project was abandoned, and my government chose to rely on Facebook and Twitter to use those platforms to prevent every people in case of attack. It could be fine because every people have a Facebook account or a Twitter account. We have all the social networks accounts, but it's another time giving the role of preventing the population to private companies rather than doing it in the public space. There is also a problem about net neutrality and private companies that can decide who to censor and who could access to the rest of the network. And there is those incredible experiment in China with a Sesame social credit. Who didn't hear about the Sesame social credit? Okay, it's a system that is always scanning the population, and you have a system of notation, and you put some feedbacks in the application, and regarding of your social activity on social networks, regarding of your job, regarding of your condition, regarding of every action you have in the society, you have a note, and those notes allow you to access some premium services in the society, like accessing to some travel tickets or booking some flight or something like this. Actually, the system is currently deployed in China, and the first step was last year with the video surveillance system, which is doing face recognition everywhere in China, and you are just scanned at every place you are passing. It is managed by Baidu, which is a big social network in China. And every people over 18 with an ID card is filled in a database that the government is managing. So there is some shaming people, public shaming people for people that are not paying their fees or something like this. The system is called Skynet, and Skynet is Terminator, so I'll let you think about it. So, then again, I'm not here to say if it's good or bad, just it's here. And we allowed it. What we want to do now. We have saw two revolutions in the past, industrial revolution, digital revolution. Is the next one the intelligence, the artificial intelligence age? That's the question, because during the industrial revolution, laborers were replaced by the machines, and the social groups has changed because those people who lost their work because of the machines, those people didn't disappear. They were already here, but they have to be reintegrated in the society and in the groups. And it moved the cursor of ethics, and it was a big question, and it was at a social cost. Even if the humanity improved after this revolution, it was the same thing about digital revolution, because we are not making some choices anymore. We are relying on our device and our Google Assistant or Siri or Alexa, whatever, to make your decision, choose which kind of clothes we want to wear regarding of the weather, etc. So there is a real question about how to use those technologies and what we want to become. do we want to continue to control the technology? Do we want to be controlled by the technology? So, welcome in 1870, because this talk is probably the same one I could give if I was during the Industrial Revolution. There have always been people that are crying about the changes and the revolutions. There were a group during the Industrial Revolution which was called the Luddites, and it was a group of laborers that was breaking the machines to prevent them to take their work. So we probably have to bring more feedback and to put a step back in our work every day to prevent the repetition of this revolution. There is a book in French, and probably it is translated in other languages, about the myth of singularity. It's called Le mythe de la singularité in French. It was by a French author which is a researcher. And he's asking us about what we are doing and if we want the artificial intelligence becoming more powerful than our own possibilities. But in fact, we have always built machines to improve the humanity. We have built microscopes, we have built many tools to enrich our power. So why are we stopping right now? Do we want to stop? Do we want to go a step away? I don't know. I'm not sure about what we want to do. So we have just closed the loop, and we can't really find a difference between the good and the evil in the different choices we are making in our everyday use. The question is it what we want to do? Is it just doing, or is it conceiving things? As developers, we have probably more power than other people in the world, because every line of code we are writing are potentially touching millions of people. And we craft and ship those million lines of codes every day to millions of people. So we could have an impact. But except for large companies, which are crafting and shipping their code to the rest of the world, every application, every service, everything we are making daily aren't delivered to those millions of people. And even if those large companies, the decisions aren't the case of developers, decisions are made by the board, but not by the people that are crafting code. So maybe we are already the workers of the laborers of the digital world. So we have to think about the ethics in code, in what we are doing every day. We should think about the things that must be done. The first one is, could we teach code ethically? It's a real question. Maybe in our schools, in our courses, we need to produce some information and to teach to our students how to code ethically. 30 years later, there was a first RFC about ethics in computers, and they say that negligence in the conduct of internet-wide experiments is both irresponsible and unacceptable. I don't know if we're still doing this, but we should think about it. And then again, if code is law, that like Lawrence Lessig said 20 years ago, we have to reread that and think about it again. We have the question about our work, what we want to do, consider our work as really influent, don't do things because we can do that, but because we should do that, because we think it's better for the humanity. And maybe we need to be less scientist and probably more sentient. The Utah Computer University has a student code for their student in the computer science department program, and those codes say, this is my preferred one. The code says that you have to act all the time with integrity. You have to strive to increase your competence and the competence and prestige of your profession. You have to accept the responsibility of your work, what you have done. You have to act with professional responsibility when you work with others. And thanks again, Jessica, for your last conference. It was just awesome. Thank you very much. And you have to use your special knowledge and your special skills for the advancements of the human welfare. So, great power, great responsibilities. You know that. David Humes presented a problem that is known as the his health problem, also known as the Humes law or the Humes guillotine. He said that we can just deduce normative statements, so what ought to be, from a positive statement, what is, what exists. This is exactly what we do when we do logic things, when we have a scientific approach. But it means that morality and ethics choice can be inferred from any is statement. We have to think about the relation between humans and not the relation between humans and algorithm. So we have a lot of research and we have a lot of documentation about computer ethics and ethics in computer science. But maybe we should start right now to think about the computer workers' ethics. About that, there is no real research at all about the status. What we need to do as computer workers. My last self is about this one. Even if we are software craftspeople, we also need to be thinkers of our societies because we are just drawing the lines of our future. Thank you. Don't suicide outside of the room, please. I'm mad. I'm an old web dinosaur because I'm running in web development for 20 years right now. I'm also a tech evangelist. I'm working at Always Data, which is a hosting provider, and we are working about security and privacy things and responsibilities of developers and computers workers in the rest of the world. So if you have questions, I will be here for a few hours. And if you have no questions, I'll be here to take a drink. So come with me and say hello, get in touch. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.